hybrid or gas? It sounds like a simple question, but for drivers over 50, the answer is worth real money, real comfort, and potentially thousands of dollars in savings or waste depending on which way you go. Today I'm breaking down exactly which one wins for your life right now, with real numbers, real comparisons, and no sales pitch. Let's get into it. Here is what makes this question different for drivers over 50 versus everyone else. Your driving patterns have likely shifted. Your priorities have definitely shifted. The math that makes a hybrid work or not work depends entirely on how, where, and how much you actually drive. And most of the comparisons you'll find online are written for commuters in their 30s driving 40 miles each way to an office. That is probably not your life anymore. So, let's talk about your life. The first thing to understand before anything else on this list, and this one number will frame everything that follows. Number 1, the break-even math, what nobody actually shows you. Here is a scenario that plays out constantly. Someone over 50 walks into a dealership, sees that a hybrid version of their favorite vehicle costs $3,000 to $5,000 more than the gas version, and immediately asks the reasonable question, will I ever make that money back? Most salespeople either don't know the honest answer or don't have the incentive to give it. Here it is. The break-even point on a hybrid premium depends on 3 variables: the price difference between the hybrid and gas version, the fuel economy difference between the two, and how many miles you drive per year. Let's use a real example with real numbers. Take the Toyota RAV4. The gas version achieves approximately 27 miles per gallon combined. The RAV4 Hybrid achieves approximately 40 miles per gallon combined. The price difference between comparable trims is roughly $3,000 to $3,500. If you drive 12,000 miles per year, which is close to the national average, the gas RAV4 uses approximately 444 gallons annually. The hybrid uses 300 gallons. That's 144 gallons saved per year. At an average fuel price of $3.50 per gallon, you're saving roughly $500 per year. Divide the $3,000 premium by $500 in annual savings, and your break-even point is 6 years. After year 6, the hybrid is putting money back in your pocket every single year for the rest of the ownership period. But here's where it gets more interesting. If you drive fewer miles, say 8,000 miles per year, which is realistic for many retirees, the break-even stretches to approximately 9 years. At that mileage level, the gas version may actually be the smarter financial decision. The hybrid premium never fully pays back if the miles aren't there to generate the savings. This is the number the dealership almost never sits down and calculates with you. Know your annual mileage, honestly, and run the math before you decide. Number 2, how hybrid driving actually feels different and why it matters after 50. Most people think the driving experience difference between a hybrid and a gas car is minimal. For every day, around-town driving, they are wrong, and the difference specifically benefits older drivers in ways that aren't obvious until you've experienced them. A standard hybrid, not a plug-in, not a full electric, a standard self-charging hybrid like the Toyota Camry Hybrid or Honda Accord Hybrid, uses its electric motor primarily at low speeds and during acceleration from a stop. This means the car moves away from traffic lights, out of parking spaces, and through slow neighborhood traffic almost entirely on electric power. Smooth, instant, quiet. That smoothness is not just pleasant. It removes a specific type of driving tension. In a conventional gas car, the engine engages immediately when you press the accelerator. If the throttle calibration is slightly aggressive, which many modern turbocharged engines are, the car can surge slightly from a stop. That microsurge, experienced dozens of times per day, creates a subtle but real alertness demand. Your foot is always managing the throttle to prevent the jolt. In a hybrid, the electric motor's instant, linear torque delivery means the car moves exactly as much as you ask, no more and no less. The transition from stopped to moving is completely seamless. Most car owners don't realize how much low-level tension that removes from city and suburban driving until they've driven a hybrid for 2 weeks. But here's where it gets important for over 50 drivers specifically. The regenerative braking system on hybrids, which captures energy when you lift off the accelerator, means the car slows more progressively when you come off the gas. In practice, this means you reach for the brake pedal less frequently and with less urgency in situations where you're simply slowing for a light or a turn. That reduction in brake pedal demand translates to less left leg fatigue and less of the tension that comes from rapid brake-gas-brake cycling in traffic. The Toyota Camry Hybrid, the Honda CR-V Hybrid, and the Ford Escape Hybrid all exhibit this characteristic clearly. Drive one in city traffic for 30 minutes and you will feel the difference in how relaxed your driving posture is when you arrive. Number 3. The maintenance reality. Which one costs less to keep running? Here is the question that matters most over a 7 to 10 year ownership period, and it is not the one most people ask. Everyone asks about reliability. The real question is, which one costs less to maintain when something does need attention? Let's start with what a hybrid adds mechanically. A standard hybrid adds a battery pack, an electric motor, a generator, and a power control unit to the conventional drivetrain. It sounds like more to go wrong, but here's the counterintuitive truth. The hybrid system actually reduces wear on the components that fail most often in gas cars. Brake pads and rotors last significantly longer in hybrids, often 60 to 80,000 miles compared to 30 to 50,000 miles in a comparable gas vehicle, because regenerative braking does most of the deceleration work without touching the mechanical brakes. Over a 150,000-mile ownership period, you might replace brake pads twice instead of 4 times. At an average cost of $250 to $400 per axle per service, that's real money. The hybrid's gas engine also runs fewer total hours than a comparable non-hybrid engine, because at low speeds and light loads, the electric motor does the work and the gas engine shuts off. An engine that runs fewer hours accumulates less wear per mile. The Toyota hybrid drivetrain, in particular, has a documented long-term reliability record that supports this. Original Toyota Prius taxis and delivery vehicles have routinely exceeded 300,000 miles with original hybrid batteries. But here's where it gets worse for gas car owners on maintenance. Modern turbocharged gas engines, which are now standard on many non-hybrid vehicles because they allow a smaller engine to produce more power, require more frequent oil changes, are more sensitive to oil quality, and can develop carbon buildup issues at higher mileage that naturally aspirated engines don't. The turbocharger itself is a component with a defined service life. This is where it becomes expensive, not immediately, but at 80 or 90,000 miles when the turbo shows wear and the repair estimate arrives. A naturally aspirated gas engine, one without a turbocharger, is simpler and generally less expensive to maintain long-term. If you're choosing a gas vehicle, the non-turbocharged option is almost always the wiser long-term choice for a driver prioritizing reliability and low maintenance cost. Number 4. The range anxiety question. Does it actually apply to hybrids? Let's address the concern that stops more people from considering hybrids than any other single issue. And the concern is legitimate, but it applies to the wrong type of vehicle. Range anxiety, the fear of running out of energy before reaching a charging station, is a real consideration for fully electric vehicles. It has absolutely no relevance to standard self-charging hybrids. None. A standard hybrid charges its own battery automatically through regenerative braking and the gas engine. You never plug it in. You never think about charge levels. You fill it with gasoline at any gas station, exactly the same as a conventional car, and you drive. The only difference is you fill it less often because it goes further on each tank. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, for example, has a fuel tank of approximately 14.5 gallons. At 40 miles per gallon combined, that gives you a range of approximately 580 miles per tank. Compare that to the gas RAV4 at 27 miles per gallon with the same tank size, a range of approximately 390 miles per tank. The hybrid actually has better range. There is nothing to be anxious about. This is where most car owners don't realize the distinction. When people say they're worried about hybrids, they're often imagining the constraints of a fully electric vehicle. A standard hybrid has none of those constraints. It behaves exactly like a gas car at the pump while saving you money on every gallon you buy. The plug-in hybrid is the middle option. It has a larger battery that you can charge from an outlet for electric-only range, but also operates as a conventional hybrid when the battery is depleted. For a driver over 50 who does most driving close to home, a plug-in hybrid can be interesting, but the standard hybrid requires zero behavior change and zero infrastructure. You just drive. If you want more honest, practical car advice built specifically for drivers over 50, subscribe right now. We cover exactly this kind of information every single week, and it will save you real money. Number 5. Highway driving. Where the gas car fights back here is where intellectual honesty requires giving the gas car its due, because hybrids do not win every comparison, and this is one where they don't. On sustained highway driving, Cruising at 65 to 75 miles per hour for extended periods, the hybrid's advantage shrinks considerably. The electric motor contributes less at highway speeds because there's less stop-and-go cycling to generate regenerative energy. The gas engine carries most of the load. The fuel economy advantage of the hybrid over a comparable gas vehicle narrows from a potential gap of 15 to 20 miles per gallon in city driving down to perhaps 5 to 8 miles per gallon on the highway. For a driver who does primarily highway miles, long road trips, regular interstate commutes, frequent travel between cities, the break-even calculation extends considerably, and a well-chosen naturally aspirated gas vehicle with good highway fuel economy can be nearly as cost-effective as the hybrid version. The Mazda CX-5 with its 2.5-liter, naturally aspirated four-cylinder achieves approximately 31 miles per gallon on the highway. The Honda Passport V6 achieves approximately 27 miles per gallon highway. Neither of these matches a hybrid's city efficiency, but on sustained highway driving, the gap is narrower than it appears in the combined ratings. The practical guidance: if more than 60% of your driving is highway miles, run the specific highway miles per gallon numbers for the hybrid versus gas versions of the vehicle you're considering. The hybrid may still win on total cost, but not by the margin that headline fuel economy numbers suggest. Number 6. Resale value. The number most buyers forget, until it's too late. Here is a cost factor that doesn't show up in the purchase price or the fuel bill, but quietly determines how much your car decision actually costs you over the long term. Hybrids have held their resale value significantly better than comparable gas vehicles over the past several years. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Honda CR-V Hybrid, and the Toyota Camry Hybrid consistently command higher resale prices at 3 and 5 years of age than their gas counterparts, often by $2,000 to $4,000. That difference matters in one specific scenario that affects over 50 buyers more than any other age group. If your circumstances change, health, living situation, a move to a location where driving is less necessary, and you need to sell or trade in before your original ownership period ends, the hybrid's stronger resale value directly reduces your net cost of ownership. You paid more upfront and you get more back when you sell. The net difference is smaller than the sticker premium suggested. But here's where it gets worse if you ignore this. A gas vehicle with poor resale value, particularly a larger sedan category that has fallen out of buyer favor, or a non-hybrid version of a model where buyers strongly prefer the hybrid, can depreciate so aggressively in the first 3 years that the total cost of ownership exceeds a hybrid that cost more to buy. Depreciation is the single largest cost in car ownership for most people, and it is the one most completely ignored at the point of purchase. When comparing hybrid to gas, always look up the projected 3-year and 5-year resale values for both versions. Multiple automotive research organizations publish these projections. 10 minutes of research on this one variable can change the total cost calculation entirely. Number 7. The peak point. The driving experience decision that overrides the math. Here is the most important point on this list, and it is the one that goes beyond numbers, because there is a version of this decision where the math actually doesn't settle it, and that version is more common than people admit. For a driver over 50 who covers fewer than 8,000 miles per year and does primarily highway driving, the financial case for the hybrid premium may not close cleanly. The break-even math doesn't work at low mileage and high highway percentages. The rational financial answer in that scenario might be a reliable, naturally aspirated gas vehicle. And yet, here is what that analysis misses. The driving experience of a modern hybrid is measurably less fatiguing for the type of driving most over 50 Americans actually do: urban errands, suburban trips, short daily outings with frequent stops. In those conditions, the hybrid's smooth electric acceleration, the progressive regenerative braking, the quieter cabin at low speeds, and the reduced throttle management demand all combine to make driving feel easier. Not dramatically, but consistently. Every trip, every day. At 55, that difference is pleasant. At 65, it becomes meaningful. At 70 and beyond, it becomes one of the factors that keeps driving feeling manageable and enjoyable rather than effortful and stressful. The Toyota Camry Hybrid XLE, the Honda CR-V Hybrid EXL, and the Lexus UX250H are all vehicles where the hybrid system is so well integrated that you stop thinking about it within the first week. It's just the car. But the car is notably calmer, quieter, and easier to drive in everyday conditions than the gas equivalent. That quality of experience has value that doesn't appear in a spreadsheet. Here is the honest synthesis. If the math is borderline and your mileage is low, consider how much of your driving is city and suburban versus highway. If city and suburban driving represents more than half your miles, the hybrid driving experience advantage tips the scale. If you're almost entirely highway miles at low annual mileage, the gas vehicle is the financially cleaner choice. The mistake to avoid, and this is the one that costs people most, is choosing a gas vehicle specifically to avoid spending the hybrid premium, and then watching the resale value differential, the fuel cost differential, and the brake maintenance savings gradually prove that the hybrid would have cost less over the full ownership period. Run the complete numbers before you decide, not just the sticker, all of it. The bottom line. For most drivers over 50 who do a meaningful mix of city, suburban, and highway driving at or above 8,000 miles per year, the hybrid wins. It wins on fuel cost, it wins on brake maintenance, it wins on resale value, and it wins on the daily driving experience in exactly the conditions most over 50 Americans drive in most often. For the driver who covers primarily highway miles at low annual totals, under 7,000 to 8,000 miles per year, the case is closer, and a reliable, naturally aspirated gas vehicle can be the smarter financial decision. Know your own driving pattern and run your own numbers, not the dealership's numbers, yours. The vehicles that make this decision clearest are the ones where the hybrid and gas versions exist at comparable price points with documented reliability on both sides. Toyota, Honda, and Ford offer the most proven hybrid platforms in models that directly fit over 50 buyer needs. The Camry Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, and Escape Hybrid are all vehicles where you can make this comparison directly, honestly, and confidently. Now here's my question for you. Are you currently driving a hybrid or a gas car? And based on what you heard today, do you think you made the right call? Drop it in the comments. A lot of people in this community are making this decision right now, and your real-world experience is exactly what helps them. And if this gave you something real and useful, the kind of honest breakdown that actually helps you decide, subscribe. Every week we do exactly this for drivers over 50. See you in the next one.